Millionaire catches black cleaner studying in the dark. What happens next surprises everyone. What the hell are you doing here? Edward Blake's sharp voice echoed through the empty penthouse at 3 a.m., making the 26-year-old woman look up from the books spread across the marble floor. Maya Carter remained seated, a small flashlight shining on pages of advanced calculus. Around her, cleaning supplies and neatly folded rags proved she had finished her shift. Yet there she was, studying like this $30 million penthouse was her private library. "Mr. Blake," she said calmly, "I'm done cleaning. I was just taking a moment to study before heading home." Edward descended the marble stairs, silk pajamas brushing against the polished floor. At 42, he had built his real estate empire by being ruthless. A cleaner buried in college math in his home? Unthinkable. Study? He laughed coldly. "This isn't a library. I pay you to clean, not pretend you're some student." Maya quietly closed the book, sliding her cheap $5 calculator into her bag. She moved with an unshaken grace, like someone who had survived worse storms. "With all due respect, sir, the house is spotless, just as always." Her composure unsettled him. For 6 months, she had been invisible, a shadow mopping floors. But seeing her, surrounded by college texts, lit a primitive anger inside him. "Listen carefully," Edward said, towering over her. "People like you need to know your place. Don't dream of being something you're not. It's pathetic." That's when Maya's eyes shifted. Edward saw something that forced him a step back. Not anger, but the dangerous calm of someone holding a secret too heavy to reveal. "People like me," she repeated slowly, almost smiling. "Interesting perspective, Mr. Blake." What Edward never knew was that Maya had been more observant than any housekeeper he'd ever employed. She had overheard shady business calls, seen contracts left unattended, witnessed whispered deals. Details a billionaire assumed a cleaner wouldn't understand or care about. "You're fired," Edward snapped. "Get your things and go. Don't expect a reference." Maya stood, gathering her books with dignity. At the door, she looked back once more. "Have you ever heard the saying about not underestimating those who are always watching?" Her words echoed in the marble halls long after she left. The next morning, Edward tried to shake off the unease. He told himself it was ridiculous, a cleaner trying to act like she mattered. But he couldn't forget that look in her eyes. Meanwhile, Maya was at a small public library, not crying as he imagined, but carefully organizing 6 months of notes and photos. She had discreetly snapped pictures of fraudulent contracts. Millionaire catches black cleaner studying in the dark. What happens next surprises everyone. What the hell are you doing here? Edward Blake's sharp voice echoed through the empty penthouse at 3 a.m., making the 26-year-old woman look up from the books spread across the marble floor. Maya Carter remained seated, a small flashlight shining on pages of advanced calculus. Around her, cleaning supplies and neatly folded rags proved she had finished her shift. Yet there she was, studying like this $30 million penthouse was her private library. "Mr. Blake," she said calmly, "I'm done cleaning. I was just taking a moment to study before heading home." Edward descended the marble stairs, silk pajamas brushing against the polished floor. At 42, he had built his real estate empire by being ruthless. A cleaner buried in college math in his home? Unthinkable. Study? He laughed coldly. "This isn't a library. I pay you to clean, not pretend you're some student." At the city's exclusive country club, Edward bragged to fellow tycoons about firing the arrogant maid who thought she could study calculus. Laughter filled the room. But one man didn't laugh. Ryan Miller, a 27-year-old investigative journalist working part-time as a waiter, overheard every word. He had grown up in a struggling neighborhood not far from Maya's. For 2 years, he'd been chasing rumors of Edward's corruption, but lacked hard evidence. The next day, Ryan found Maya in the library. "Sorry to bother you," he said. "I'm Ryan Miller, a journalist. I heard you worked for Edward Blake." Maya studied him carefully. He wasn't mocking. He looked determined. "I did. Why?" "Because I've been investigating him, but I've never been able to get close. Someone inside his home might have exactly what I need." For the first time, Maya opened her notebook to someone else. Ryan's eyes widened as he saw the meticulously catalogued documents, contracts, payments, conversations. "This could take down half the city's elite," he whispered. "I'm not finished," Maya replied, with that same calm smile. "But with the right partner, I might be ready." Over the next weeks, Maya and Ryan worked in secret. Every document was verified, every shady transaction traced. They built a dossier impossible to ignore. Then Edward made his biggest mistake. During a meeting with investors in his penthouse, he was caught on camera offering bribes for insider information on a public housing project. The same home where he had mocked Maya became the stage for his undoing. "We've got him," Ryan said, showing her the footage. With her evidence and his recording, the case was airtight. Monday morning, Edward awoke to his phone buzzing non-stop. His lawyer, his assistant, even the mayor called in panic. Confused, he grabbed the newspaper and froze. His own photo sprawled across the front page, under the headline, "Millionaire Empire Built on Bribes and Fraud. Exclusive Evidence Reveals Corruption." Each paragraph felt like a dagger. Fraudulent contracts, rigged deals, secret payments, all documented with receipts and photos. The article credited an anonymous insider for providing the material. Anonymous insider. Months of access. Suddenly, Edward realized who it was. By noon, his bank accounts were frozen. Business partners cut ties. The city announced a full investigation. On TV, anchors discussed his inevitable downfall while experts predicted years behind bars. At 9 a.m., his intercom buzzed. A familiar voice. "Mr. Blake, it's Maya Carter. I came to return something." Edward's chest tightened. Moments later, she stood in his office, not in a maid's uniform, but in a sharp blazer, carrying a leather briefcase. She placed a newspaper on his desk, the front page exposing his empire. "I thought you might want a copy," she said coolly. Edward stared, stunned. The woman he had mocked now stood taller than him, radiating confidence he could never buy. "It was you," he whispered. "For 6 months," Maya said firmly. "Every careless document you left lying around, every arrogant deal you thought no one understood. I understood. And now, so does the world." Edward sank into his chair, realizing everything was gone. His empire, his reputation, his freedom, all dismantled by the woman he had dismissed as nothing more than a cleaner. Maya picked up her briefcase. "You told me to know my place, Mr. Blake. I did. And it turns out my place is making sure men like you finally face justice." With that, she walked out, leaving Edward Blake to confront the ruins of his empire, brought down not by rivals or regulators, but by the quiet determination of the cleaner he had once underestimated.